Look at all the states in the country that have the most robust economies. They are states, with almost without exception, that do not allow men into ladies' rooms.
The bathroom battle begins in Austin tomorrow as the legislature opens its once every 2-year session, and the state faces a tight budget as well, in addition to a bathroom crisis. Veteran reporter Brandon Formby of the Texas Tribune has a look ahead. So if everything's so good in Texas, unemployment is down, companies are packing up and moving from California to Texas, why do we have a budget crisis?
Well, a lot of it is due to the energy sector that's taken, a lot of hits in the last several years. So that's going to be one of the big things coming out today, is kind of what the next 2 years looks like, how much revenues the state's going to have, and that'll kind of set the tone or kind of set the ceiling for what the legislature can budget during this session.
And the prediction is that out of the state comptroller's office, you guys are reporting a $2 billion surplus. A lot of states would love to have a $2 billion surplus. In Texas, you got to balance the budget. There's no
Right,
no
in
way
Texas,
around.
it's constitutionally mandated. You have to balance it.
So Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick really setting the conservative agenda with all kinds of issues out there, but he says one of the most important things is to protect children and women from sexual predators with this bathroom bill.
Correct. That's one of his top priorities.
Does any Republican in the Senate dare defy him on that one? Because you don't want to be the guy who voted against, man or woman who voted against.
It'll be interesting to see. There hasn't been a strong coalition, coming around this bill. And of course, his counterpart, the Speaker, has said that's not really one of his priorities. And even the governor hasn't really come out strong on this. I think he said something along the lines that, it's something that should be explored, but that's not really an endorsement.
And a very powerful business lobby is against this, saying it'll be bad for business.
Yeah, the Texas Association of Business, which is the state's chamber of commerce, fears that if this passes, the state could lose anywhere from about $900 million to $8.6 billion and 100,000 jobs.
Right. With money tight, major source of revenue for school districts anyway is the local property tax.
Correct.
There are howls now that with rising values that property taxes are getting out of control. Is the legislature inclined to do something about that?
Right now, they appear that they are. I think it's kind of going to depend on how many lawmakers they get around this. There is a bill, Senate Bill 2, that would lower the cap that local government entities have to raise property taxes. That's the amount that would trigger an election for voters to approve it. School districts are against it. City halls are against it. So.
The interesting part about it is the Texas legislature is going to put a cap not on what it can spend or how it can raise money, but everybody else.
Right. That's one of the most interesting things is property taxes do not go to
There's
the
no
state.
statewide property
Correct.
tax.
Those just go to local governments.
Some big budget eaters, things that eat up a lot of money, Child Protective Services, which has been talked about for years, that this is a problem. The foster care system in Texas is a mess. Children are dying in foster care in Texas. That's an expensive fix in a year when there's not a lot of money floating around Austin.
Yeah, and that's going to be a big one to watch. There's a lawsuit going on right now. A judge found that the kids in foster care, their constitutional rights are being violated, and wants to implement fixes through the courts. And Texas is coming back and saying, no, we can fix it ourselves. We don't need the court to do it. So it'll be interesting to see what fixes they come up with.
And where there may be a source of revenue, perhaps, on the border, where the state's spending about $1 billion a year protecting the border, if the Trump administration says, we're here, we'll take over, we'll do what the Obama administration has not.
Yeah,
could be a source of relief.
Be interesting to see what comes through from the feds.
Yeah, if anything, yeah. All right, thanks very much, Brandon. And we have a link to the Texas Tribune and Brandon's reporting on fox4news.com.